Let's talk about the tropics. We are tracking two different weather systems with very high interest. Now, over on the right side of the screen, that is Tropical Storm Humberto. It has shown some gradual signs of strengthening this morning. The winds are now up to 50 miles per hour. But really, this thing's going to take off over the weekend. The track of it, though, moving west of Bermuda. We've got that kind of northwesterly component right now and then eventually getting steered off to the north. And you can see the spaghetti models pinpointing that pretty well. Of course, we've got the few of our different models that are clustered pretty closely. This is kind of like the model consensus right in here. But believe it or not, this storm Humberto may influence the track of the next system that we're watching. And this one is called Invest 94L. This one we are watching even closer, and the reason why is this does pose a threat to make an impact off the East Coast. So this is the general direction it's going to be moving. Right now it's over Hispaniola, which if you have never been to that part of the Caribbean, we've got really mountainous terrain that is in western Dominican Republic and eastern Haiti. It's very mountainous, so when we see these tropical systems going right over Hispaniola, it disrupts the circulation and the flow. But this thing's kind of stalled out now. It's going to make its way north, and as it does so, the Bahamas are not very tall islands, so we will see less of an influence from land disrupting the circulation. It's also going to head over the Turks and Caicos Islands probably tomorrow as well. So that has a 70% chance of development in the next 2 days and a 90% chance over the next 7 days. And here's the spaghetti models, and this today shows us. And I've been looking at a lot of different models this morning, and this is one we're going to have to watch very closely. Okay, a couple days ago, it looked like this thing either might not survive, or it's going to get wrapped up into Humberto with the Fujiwara effect. Now it looks like this thing could be nudged westward thanks to Humberto, and it sends it kind of straight on a beeline in towards the southeast coast, really through the Carolinas. So we're watching this very closely today. The National Weather Service in many different locations, including right here in Peachtree City, Georgia, our office here locally in Metro Atlanta, they are issuing special weather balloon releases. And what that does is it helps us sample the atmosphere that this storm may be headed into this weekend and next week. So it gives us a clearer picture right now what's happening. And then as we plug that into model data, it gives us a more clear picture of where this storm system might go, what the strength of it may be. So that's one new piece of tool in our toolkit that we're going to be getting that data in today and tomorrow and into Saturday. The other piece of information that we're going to be getting in is from the hurricane hunters. So they issue these kind of what we're expecting to do, outlooks, and what missions they're expecting to fly. And they issue those each day. And I was just looking at our outlook, okay? And we've got for this area east of the Leeward Islands, AL94, which is the one we're talking about right now, they have a flight that took off at 18Z yesterday. They have a flight that is taking off at 12Z today, so it's already been taking off, and a second flight that's been going into that storm today as well. And then also, they'll be looking at what's happening with perhaps Humberto as well. But it's this storm system right here, which is Invest 94L, that is a very high interest storm system. And right now it's just an Invest, it's just a cluster of thunderstorms. But that could become our next hurricane on the list or tropical storm on the list. The next name is Imelda. So the timeline for an impact on the southeastern coast would be probably Monday into Tuesday. So I know that doesn't sound like much time. It is only Thursday. It's Thursday midday, and I mean, we could have either later today or tomorrow at some point some kind of potential tropical cyclone path or cone put out for this system. Here is the European model. This is a raw, model data. This is not what's actually going to play out. This is one run of one model. I want to preface showing you this with that. But this shows you as we get into the start of the weekend, by Friday, Saturday morning, we finally start to see this better defined low developing in the central Bahamas. And then really there's very warm waters just north of the Bahamas in the Gulf Stream. very warm waters where it's going to be moving right on top of. So this is energy for this storm system to get its act together in a hurry, potentially quickly become a tropical depression, tropical storm. I don't want to say it would definitely become a hurricane or not, but this is one of those that we're going to be watching very closely. It looks like it will quickly develop regardless of what it ends up being. So this is the European showing it coming into by Monday afternoon and evening in through South Carolina or North Carolina. The GFS, the American model, is really not that dissimilar in a sense, where it is a Monday time frame, and it also has it coming somewhere into the Carolinas. The question is this thing then going to kind of spread itself north, or are we going to see, I'm going to zoom this out, you can also see on this map, Humberto's right there, just cranking out in the open Atlantic, but we've got this big high coming in from Canada. I'm going to draw it on this map for you. So the question is, how quickly does that high come in? Because the winds around it are going to go clockwise, and it might try to steer, slow down, redirect where 94L will go, and that could influence its path as well. And that's why these weather balloon samplings are so important, is we need to know all the different weather features that are happening in advance of where this storm is going to be steered. So this will be a big rainmaker regardless of what it ends up being. I want to show you rainfall outlook from the Weather Prediction Center. Let's see here. Here's my 7-day rainfall outlook. Just give me a second because the graphics are a little bit delayed. They're going to pop on in about 25 seconds. There we go. So what this shows you is it's a projection of how much rain we could see over the next 7 days. You notice here in North Georgia, we're going to get a little today and tomorrow, but really the bulk of the moisture with this system is going to be to our east. We're going to be on the left side of the system, sinking air, and that generally means that we don't see a lot of rain out of it. We're not on the dirty side of the system. A lot of that heavy rain is going to inundate the Carolinas up through the mid-Atlantic, so there could be some rainfall amounts that are easily 3 to 5 inches throughout eastern North Carolina, up through the mid-Atlantic, Norfolk, up into kind of the lower Delmarva Peninsula, even into southern Maryland, the south of D.C. So that is a storm system that, even though it is not even a tropical depression, we are watching it very closely because there will be impacts down the line. And what we're seeing in our models today shows that this thing, which is now just a cluster of thunderstorms over Dominican Republic, well, it could develop. And as it develops, that moisture and whatever winds and storm surge it brings with it might head towards the southeastern coast. So again, we have Humberto that was just named. Imelda is the next name on the list. And I don't want to compare apples to apples because it's not apples to apples. Every storm is different. But I is the letter of the storm names that we see retired most often. Of course, you think most recently about Ian back in 2022. That was a storm name that was retired. We have a lot of I names that end up getting retired. Isabel back in 2003 as well. All right.